Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne with Back to Earth Creations, and in this video I want to show y'all how to restring this beaded bracelet. So come repair this bracelet with me. Let's get started. Okay y'all, there's been a project hiding on my desk for a while, and it is this bracelet that I think is beautiful and that I need to restring because one of my really good friends who was helping us in the booth really liked it, but it was a little long on her. So as a gift, I'm going to restring it and give it to her. So I think this is a great tutorial for if you want to learn how to string a necklace, because restringing a necklace is just stringing a necklace, but like for the second time. So it's the same techniques and everything. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to begin by rolling out a little mat that's a little curled and weird from being folded, and it's covered in dog hair, but hashtag crafter life. And we are going to deconstruct this bracelet, and this is here to keep all the little beads from rolling around all over the place. And there will be links to all the different tools and materials that I'm using down in the video description. And this bracelet needs to be about, oh, let's see. I think I'm going to stop on this bead right here. Yeah, that bronze one is going to be, let me measure once more, because the length of the clasp really, like, I'm going to be adding it back in from these copper beads on. So we're going to have like, I mean, that's at least a solid inch of space. So I may actually, let me, I could use a ruler, but sometimes this is the best I got. Yeah, I think actually stopping after this blue one. Nah, we'll do this one, and then I can always restring it if it's too long still. So I'm going to come in here, and we do not have to unstring the whole necklace. And the technique for doing the crimp bead and crimp cover on this end is exactly the same as it will be when we rebind off this end. So I'm going to snip just as close as I can so that I can save all of this wire, and we're going to pretend like we're going to use our imaginations. And apparently I can't think and use my wire snips at the same time. We're going to pretend like we started from the beginning, because I think you're clever, you'll get it figured out. And so, yeah, we were going to stop here. So the crimp bead is like right here, and this is great practice. I should have tried tugging on it to see, but those crimp beads, like they're on there, y'all. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to snip right there. And I don't really know of a way to reuse that little bit that we've pulled off. And so just to keep the pattern, because I may be able to change this into something else. There we go. But yeah, if our cord were broken a little farther up, we would have been restringing this in a different way. So this is not an all-encompassing tutorial. And in fact, if you have something that is broken that you are interested in getting repaired, please send me an email to backtoearthcreations.com, and I may make a video about, like, if you're interested, I could make a video about repairing your project that way, because that's how, when you're starting from scratch, you can do it however you want, but when you're repairing, especially if it's somebody else's work or maybe some of your older work, it can be like just really tricky. It feels kind of like doing plumbing in an old house that like 5 other homeowners have done their own DIY plumbing in over the decades, and it's just, oh my god, it can be a bit much. So don't let that discourage you. We've got this. So yeah, send us an email and we'll see if we can help you out. Or even if you want to send an email and take a picture, I can try to recreate the problem. That way you can fix it yourself too. And our email is backtoearthcreations@yahoo.com. So here we have our little bit of beading wire still. Now, if this were an older piece, I would probably be much more inclined to replace the beading wire or beading cable. And this is, let me pull it out. This is just this stuff, y'all. There are nicer beading cords or beading cables or bead stringing wire, whatever it's called. There are different thicknesses. I really like the 42 strand, but the 7 strand works really well for some of the smaller hold beads, and I've had good results with it. So let me know what your experience has been down in the comments below, though, because I learn a lot from y'all's experience. So I'm just threading on. These are size 11 and a little bit of like an antique copper tone. And then these are the Potomac pearls from the Potomac Bead Box Treasure Edition that we get in the mail. So I'm sliding that on. This isn't sponsored. This is just what they are, and I like them. They're a fun, like, they have a nice luster to them, and they're very, very affordable. And then we're going to slide on 2 more. Then I'm not certain where this one came from, because we're just going to be coming joined together by this copper bead that we're then going to thread on. And the next thing that we're going to want to add is going to be our crimp bead and crimp cover. So let me grab those and then we'll zoom in so you can get a really good look at it. So we're going to want to make sure to have these, which are called crimp pliers. They'll be down in the video description. And these are special pliers because you can see they have that little kidney bean shaped notch, and then they have that round shaped notch, and this is step 1 and this is step 2, and I want to try really hard to be clear about it. And there are more complex ways that you can do this step, but this is just how I do it. And so we're just going to slide. That's our little crimp bead. You'll want to make sure that it is large enough to accommodate 2 thick, or a double of whatever you're feeding through it. So I've fed through 2 of these beading cables. I'm going to need to make sure that they can fit back down and through, and that's okay. So now the next thing that we're going to be grabbing is our crimp cover. We're going to need to have that on hand and ready. I'm so sorry for my messy hands. I've just potted up my niece's very first houseplant with her, and we had such a good time, but apparently needed to scrub my nails better, so there's that. But now we're going to take, and I love closed loop components, how there's no little, like it's soldered together there at the join, and that way we don't have to worry about our beading cable slipping out. So we've threaded through, and now I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to feed back through. And I'm going to kind of scooch this whole situation up just a little bit, like up towards the clasp. That way, we can try to make sure everything's doing well. Like not getting crisscrossed or nothing unintended is happening. Now I am going to grab my really fine tip bent nose pliers, because those are going to be helpful to me, in holding on to these little bits of wire. And so I'm just going to pull down a little, and I'd like to feed one side through. There we go. A few beads. So there's, and this is where I use the thinner one, is because these beads don't even accommodate, these seed beads don't hardly accommodate 2 wires. Okay, well, I've tried and it doesn't really fit, so we won't be tucking the ends in that manner, but it's good to try. Because oftentimes my eyes, oh wait, or did it actually go in? It went in! Oh, that's very good. Sometimes my eyes will deceive me and I'll be like, oh no, that won't fit, and then I'll try it and it does anyhow. Or I'll think it will and it won't. So I always go ahead and give it a good try. Let's see. And this can be kind of delicate work. Just trying to see where everything's going and trying to not undo what had previously been done. And like right here, I think this is just pushing. There we go. It finally came through. So I'm just going to bend it. Whoop. I was going to try to grab it, but I need to feed it through a little more. So to do that, I hope that demonstrating my technique is helpful to y'all. It's not a good technique, but I hope that it's helpful. And I guess this is the proof that, well, it doesn't have to be good for you to enjoy yourself, certainly. But it also doesn't have to be any old particular way to get it to work. Okay, so now you may be able to see we have that wire coming back down and then through there and through there. So I'm going to grab, and I'm just covering everything up with my thumb because I'm tugging. And then I'm going to grab, and then I'm just going to tug. And now we're going to, now that we've got a little bit of extra wire to hold on to, we can scooch this down the length of our bracelet, and I do it incrementally, just a little at a time. So I'm going to hold on to this one. I'm going to hold these beads back here so that they're pushing against the beads that are in place, and then I'm going to tug. And do you see how that pulled that loop down? And so now I'm going to take on the other side. I'm going to try to not cover it this time. It's tricky. Let me grab the other one, the correct one. There we go. It just pulled right through. Did you see that? Not 60% of the time, it works every time. So we're just gonna squeeze that down a little more, slide these beads into place, slide these beads into place, and then we can kind of just tug and wiggle. Pull that one down, and then pull that one down. Oops. And I think that is plenty tight because we don't want our beads so tight up on each other that they're cracking and making stress from rubbing up against each other, but we also don't want them all floppy and loosey-goosey. So I like for the bracelet to maintain being supple. So if it's comfortable to wear and drapes well, then I'm not so worried about those little gaps in between. Though you could remedy that by maybe using a smaller bead, a smaller, rounder, or something. So now from here, that little crimp bead that we've added in, I'm going to come in again using step 1, which is the kidney bean, and then step 2. So I'm going to use step 1 to just, ooh, I just remembered this might help. So we're coming in there, and you can see how that's hitting, and I'm going to smush. So I've opened it up, and now you can see that crimp bead. Do you see how it has some of the cables on one side and some of the cables on the other? So we're going to take that out and look at it from all angles. That's a kidney bean. And so now we're going to rotate it to where it's the top and bottom of the bean. And we're going to squish. We're going to turn that kidney bean back into a tube that has a little crease on it. So do you see how we just folded that fold? And we could leave it like that. I've made and sold much jewelry that's like that. Now we don't have, a high-end luxury brand necessarily on all of our items. I do try to be affordable, but it works. And if the client's happy and I'm happy, then we're happy. So now I've taken our crimp cover though, because I do think it looks even nicer. Ooh, and there's something called a wire protector. Or a wire guard that you can use on this part. I don't have a whole lot of experience with those, so I don't really feel qualified to teach about them, but I'd love to experiment and take y'all on that journey with me. So if you're interested in learning more about, making your own jewelry and learning new techniques with me and stuff, be sure to subscribe to the channel, sign up for our free newsletter at backtooearthcreations.com. Now what I've done here is I've put I talked through it. I put the crimp cover around the crimp bead and then used the step 2 on my crimp pliers to kind of close it. And then it has that seam that I feel like if I come in and kind of squeeze it from the other way, I can get those seam edges to line up a little better. And you might do better on yours, I think, than what I do on mine. I'm not that great with crimp covers, but I like them. I think I did okay. Everything could always use some work, but that doesn't mean we didn't do all right. So now I'm going to zoom back out, and we are going to trim these little wire ends that are poking up and out. And so I'm just going to get in there nice and tight and snip, just like that. And snip, just like that. And y'all are 100% invited to come and tell me what I did wrong in the comments. Just remember, criticism's only useful if it's constructive. So if I'm doing something wrong, please teach me. Don't just make me feel stupid. I appreciate that. Now, sometimes if a bracelet is giving me trouble, I'll just use a bobby pin and put it around through there. And then we're going to use our lobster claw clasp. I'm going to get it under my pinky. There we go, so I can get it levered. And there we are. So it's a little finicky, but man, once it's on, it's on. Bobby pin and all. There we go. And you could add some more copper toned jump rings to this if you wanted. Here on this end, I can actually swap out and extend and add a little bit, you know, of chain or something, because this is a copper jump ring that we can open to replace a broken clasp or to extend. So there's all sorts of different options there. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. Let me know what you think down below. Hey y'all, thanks so much for hanging out with me during this video. I think this is going to be the first in hopefully a broad series about repairing jewelry. So fix it with me. We'll see how it goes. If you have projects that you're like, I need to fix this, how would you fix that? Even if we just approach it from the hypothetical, like if it's an heirloom or something and you don't really feel comfortable with mailing it, I can still try to give you some sort of advice. So whether it's here in a long format video or in one of our reels, shorts, or TikToks, we'll try our best to be helpful to y'all, because it's very, very satisfying and fun. And like, I don't know, I don't think I have to explain to y'all why it's fun to repair and make and repair jewelry. So I just really enjoy it, and I like getting to share that with y'all. So there should be some stuff popping up onto the screen. I don't know if it's this side or this one, but there's my face where I'm like dressed up in costume. You can find our main YouTube channel where we do all sorts of different tutorials on a broad variety of crafty subjects. And we also have our vlog channel if you want to keep up with our urban homestead and what hijinks are going on behind the scenes. Then we also have more videos that we'd love to see you in. So thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out, and I will see y'all in our next video. So until, sign up for our free newsletter so you don't miss out on anything. BackToTheCreations.com. Have a great day, y'all. Happy crafting. Bye bye. Bye.